Am I wrong for telling my boyfriend that he should have covered up his tattoos if he wanted any respect from my family? My boyfriend and I have been together for almost 2 years. We're polar opposites but managed to work through our differences in the past. For some context, he's almost 90% tattooed up to his neck, and comes from a difficult background to put it mildly. Today, he's employed and doing well for himself, but his upbringing was quite rough. I wouldn't describe myself as posh at all, but I come from a family where image, looks, and your accomplishments matter. However, I'd say I'm a little more casual than them. A few months ago, I finally got the courage to introduce him to my family. This was a huge deal to me, and I told him that first impressions would make or break everything. I told him that he will cover his tattoos, no ifs, ands, or buts, because my parents are super old-fashioned. I bought him an outfit for the night to ensure he looked presentable and classy. We had a practice run, and I told him what he should do and shouldn't say, how to talk, how to address any of my dad's concerns, etc. At no point did he ever show any enthusiasm, so that was a bad sign. Fast forward to dinner. It was an absolute disaster. Yes, my parents and sister were a little critical, but they're like that with any guy I date. My boyfriend was so pissed that he purposely unbuttoned the top of his shirt so you could see his tatted neck. Of course, that offended my parents, and a huge argument ensued. Not only were they telling him that he's not good enough for me, they were telling me how disappointed they are. It was a nightmare. To make it worse, my boyfriend told them that I like his tattoos, which I do, but he was just adding fuel to the fire, and it didn't matter what they think. They told him to leave. It goes without saying that my parents have zero respect for him now. It was already difficult to convince them that he's much sweeter than he may appear. My mom has been hysterical and asking why I'm having intimate relations with someone who looks like they belong in prison. He's not a criminal. I have been guilt-tripped and made to feel like complete shit, all because he chose to wreak havoc. A couple of days ago, we were arguing, and I told him that he should have hid his tattoos if he wanted any respect from people like my family. He was hurt and said that it's fucked up that I want him to change to gain respect from them. He even claimed that I'm obviously embarrassed to be associated with him and not even worthy of respect in his eyes. None of that is true, just saying. After the argument, we haven't talked much. So, am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend that he should have covered his tattoos if he wanted to establish a level of respect my parents could work from? It's not that they bother me. I think he's crazy attractive, tattoos or not, but he knew that my parents would freak out.
Am I the asshole for cussing at a lady at the park? I, 14 male, recently took my sister, 4 female, to a park close to my house. She was excited because her dad bought her a bicycle and she wanted to test it out. When we arrived, there was a lady with her 2 sons and a daughter. I made eye contact with the lady and smiled and waved at her to be nice. After 15 minutes, my sister was playing on the swings because she got scared and didn't want to ride the bike anymore. When I turned my head around to check on my sister, I saw she was crying and the lady's sons were using her bike. I asked them to leave the bike alone and to please use theirs. They ignored me and continued to play with the bike. I asked the lady if she could talk to her sons, and she responded with, "My kids are having fun and yours isn't using the bike, so I don't see a problem." She said, "My kids are having fun and yours isn't using the bike, so I don't see a problem." I then responded that I'm aware that she isn't using it, but it's her bike and your kids have their own bikes. She then went on about how I have no reason to talk to her like that if I was going around getting girls pregnant, insinuating my sister was my daughter. At this point, I was pissed and didn't want to deal with this lady, so I angrily said, "Lady, she's my sister and I believe I have the right to talk considering I'm not being a little bitch. So I'm going to ask again, are you going to tell your little rats to get off my sister's bike or not?" She then got up and told her kids to get in the car. When I told my mom, she was really angry and said I need to respect my elders.
This is why you should always keep an eye on your kids. I worked for a research facility which funds clinics handling patients for our area of expertise. To celebrate our first completely funded sites, we decided to create t-shirts to commemorate our success. I was tasked to design tees and have them printed and produced for our next conference. I secured a local printer to produce the shirts, and when they were completed, I went to the printers to pick them up. When I got there and produced my invoice, they needed to prepare and wrap them, which would take a few minutes, and I could wait in the lobby. While waiting, a woman and her son, which was around 5, came in for her order for a family reunion. She barely paid attention to the staff, and when told to wait, she got on her phone, pretty much ignoring her son who was running all around the lobby, screaming to the top of his lungs. He then decided to run behind the counter towards the back where the printing machines were. The counter clerk tried to get the woman's attention, but she just ignored the clerk and continued to talk on her phone. The clerk finally got the kid back into the lobby, but she was called back to pick up my package. The kid took this as a chance to shoot behind the counter and went running into the back. I thought that one of the staff would catch him, but they were swamped with orders and just didn't see him run past. By the time that someone spotted him, it was too late. There was a loud, high-pitched screaming and crying, and then there was loud commotion, and it appeared everyone was screaming, except the mother, who was still on her phone, oblivious to the chaos from the back. That's when another staff member came out carrying the crying kid and holding a bloody towel around his hand and screaming to the receptionist to call 911. Only then does the mother turn around and see her son and then screamed at the staff member, "What did you do to my son?" The staff member stated that somehow the kid got to the back, ran up to one of the working machines and stuck his hand between the hot blades, and it sliced off one of his fingers. The mom started screaming and berating them, threatening to sue them while ignoring her son who was still in the staff member's arms who was trying to stop the bleeding. That's when I, a nurse, came up and assessed the situation and got something to slow down the bleeding to try and save the most mostly severed finger. As the ambulance pulled up, the mom was actually still on the phone telling whoever that she was talking to what happened to her son, and she still hadn't checked or even touched her son. The staff member transferred the boy to the EMTs and they put him in the ambulance and took him to the hospital. The asshole mom actually waited and demanded her package before she even attempted to follow the ambulance to the hospital. A month later, when I went back to the printers for another order of teas, I had to ask if they ever heard what happened to the little boy. Unfortunately, he did end up losing his finger. The mom was charged with neglect due to testimony by the staff of the shop. I didn't find out much more after that, but I hope that the mother did not regain custody of that poor kid. I'm 15 years old. I have a stepsister who is a couple years older than me, and she's really seriously disabled. I'm not sure what's wrong with her because no one ever wants to discuss it with me, but she's nonverbal, breaks her bones a lot, and has severe epilepsy and will have many fitting episodes. She also doesn't understand stuff. That's probably the easiest way to put it. She's just a human body with nothing inside. She's my stepmom's daughter. My stepmom married my dad 3 years ago, and they dated only for a year before that. I don't know my stepmom very well, and I don't get along with her. We're respectful to each other, but I'm basically living with strangers because she's so busy with her daughter and my dad. I'm always on my own, and I used to hate it, but now I'm used to it. Ever since they moved in to live with us, life changed drastically for me because all the care now revolves around my stepsister. That's fine, I get it. Both my stepmom and dad ask me to do things for my stepsister that I don't want to do and I resent doing. Stuff like staying home when I want to go to the mall with my friends. They're disappointed that I don't get her anything for her birthday with my very limited funds, etc. My birth mom passed away when I was small, so I can't go stay anywhere else, and all in all, I'm just a lot more angry than I used to be because they seem really disappointed whenever I don't want to do anything for her. Even stuff like feeding her, like, I don't want to sit there feeding her banana pudding and wiping her drool. I didn't ask for this. Anyway, she recently fell a few days ago and had a seizure for 8 minutes. She was taken to the hospital and the doctors want to keep her there and look after her. I don't want to go and visit her. I remember seeing my mom in the hospital before she died, and I just hate hospitals and I sort of hate my stepsister, and I don't want to go visit someone who doesn't even know that I'm there. My stepmom is really upset with me and so is my dad. They haven't yelled at me or anything, but they are both being super cold towards me because I don't want to visit. My grandma, who lives in Canada, called me up out of the blue and told me that it was okay and I don't need to force myself to go to the hospital, so I'm assuming that my dad told her that I'm refusing to go. He keeps pleading with me, but I keep telling him that I'm not doing it. I told him that hospitals remind me of mom, and he got even more upset and said that my stepsister might die and I need to stop being so selfish towards my stepmom. Half of my friends think that I should go and the other half think that I'm justified in saying no. Am I the asshole because I refuse to go to visit my special needs sister in the hospital even though she's very sick?
Y'all, I cannot believe I just got out of this. Like, I'm pretty sure I just lied my way out of getting grounded. So basically, long story short, I got my smiley pierced behind my dad's back because he's anti-piercing and never lets me get anything pierced. Like, not even my ears. So I pierced it behind his back and he didn't know about it. But then I posted a TikTok of me showing my smiley, and then one of his friends sent my dad the video. So he was like really mad. And he was like telling me I'm grounded, yada yada, like I'm in a lot of trouble, whatever. So basically yesterday I came home expecting to get yelled, car taken away, grounded for 2 weeks. Like, I was ready for it. I walk in the front door, my dad's asleep. My dad is humbly asleep. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll just deal with this tomorrow, which is today. I wake up at 7 in the morning because I have so much anxiety. I get in the shower, and then all of a sudden my music stops playing, and bing bada boom, my dad isn't calling me, he is FaceTiming me. My father was FaceTiming me. So I answer the phone and he's like, Kayla, I want you to smile. So I go like this. And he's like, no, Kayla, you know what I mean. So I go like this and I show him my piercing. So he starts like getting all mad and going on like a little rant about how mad he is at me and like yada yada. And then he asks me why I did it. And y'all, I'm so stupid. Like, guys, I don't know why I said this. Like, I'm like, please don't be mean in the comments. Like, I know this is stupid. I don't know why I said this. It just like came out of my mouth and I instantly regretted it. I'm like, no, Dad, it's a fake piercing. When in reality, it's not fake. And as soon as I said that, I'm like, bro, why? Why would I say that? I don't know why it just like came out of my mouth, but like my brain just like said it. I'm like, and my dad just like stopped talking and he was like, oh, okay, I'll see you when I get home, and then hung up. Listen, you guys, I know this is stupid, and I'm doing this to myself, and I'm getting in trouble. I read y'all mean comments. Okay, I know. I'm a teenager. I make dumb decisions, and this is one of them. I don't know why I said that, but I did. Stuff happens. Sometimes you say stuff you don't want to say, and this was one of those moments. So now, I don't know what's gonna happen when he gets home. I'm probably just gonna tell him the truth. I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's real, I'm sorry, and like cry. I'm just gonna cry so that he like doesn't yell at me as much. So yeah, I'm just gonna tell him it's real. That's like, I'm gonna have to. And then hopefully he'll just like get over it in like a week or two, because I don't want to get grounded.
Am I the asshole for telling my husband I will divorce him if he doesn't get vaccinated? Disclaimer, this is not my story, it was sent to me. My husband, 23 male, and I, 21 female, have a 2-year-old son with some serious health issues. We're constantly in and out of the hospital, sometimes even staying overnight. We both work full-time jobs, but I work more hours than him. We take turns staying with our son at the hospital. Recently, with COVID getting worse, the hospitals require you to be fully vaccinated to visit anyone, including family. Recently, my son was admitted for one of his issues and they won't let my husband be with him because he isn't vaccinated. Because of this, I have been having to call off work for several days in a row. It's getting hard to pay for bills and other necessary things. I asked my husband to please get vaccinated, especially since it's being required almost everywhere where we live. He said no and that he refuses to allow the government to control him. I told him he's being ridiculous and I'm tired of being the only one caring for our son and constantly being yelled at for calling off of work. I told him he needs to get vaccinated because if I wanted to do it myself, I would just divorce him and be a single parent. He got mad and stormed out and I haven't seen him for a few days. Now his mom and sister are messaging me and calling me a horrible mom and wife and telling me I have no right to tell him what to do with his body. I just want him to be able to help me with our son. So am I the asshole?
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.